Coming up in the news tonight, Grand Bahamians weighing in on the continuation of the national curfew. The hospital administrator addressing the weather-related incident over the weekend. And some relief to come on stream for renters around the country. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the nation's leader announcing in the House of Assembly yesterday morning that the emergency orders will be extended until May 30th. This includes the continuation of the 24-hour curfew and weekend lockdowns. Well, our ZNS News team took to the streets of Grand Bahama this morning to hear how residents feel about the decision. Italia Hall reports.
With the emergency orders continuing until the 30th of May, some residents have mixed emotions. Now, the nation's leader admitted that he knows that some Bahamians will be disappointed with the extension, but noted that this short-term sacrifice is necessary to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Now, here on Grand Bahama, there have been no additional confirmed cases of COVID-19 in more than 2 weeks, and these residents say that they believe that some of the restrictions should be lifted.
As big as America is, they are opening up certain industry and they got thousands of cases and deaths. The cases, the places that are on the islands that are not impacted, like Andros, Exuma, government need a revenue. Open up the web shop and commerce on those islands that are not affected. And the ones that are, then I can see the lockdown. But they're not being proactive. And the fact that they're being too draconian. One shoe for all.
Be lenient to us. You know, I don't think we should suffer for Nassau. That don't make no sense to me. I wouldn't say it shouldn't be locked down, but they should be lenient with us because we ain't causing the problem.
Now, others say they agree with the decision that the government is making for every island.
He's a doctor and he is following advice from other doctors, and Bahamians should follow protocol, do the right thing. All the other countries where they ignoring it, you can see what they're doing. They're getting coronavirus, dying out like flies.
As the leader of the country and a doctor, and he's being guided by the other medical professions, that's what it takes for us to remain safe. I agree with him.
Is to protect the masses of the people, and people need to understand, if you don't have to come out, stay home. The longer we stay home, the better it's going to be for the citizens.
This resident says for persons who may be feeling irritable, they should look at the bigger picture.
Drive taxi, and I don't have an income right now, thank God for the NID, to put food on the table, but be it as it may, everybody is suffering. Right now, it's not just you. Realize that somebody down the street is worse off. You may have power. That person next door may not. So it's still a lot to be thankful for, people. So I'm applauding the government, and I am on board, with what they're doing, because I know at the end of the day, they're doing their best to protect the citizens of this country.
Now, the nation's leader says it is important to plan carefully for the reopening of the country at the right time, with the right monitoring and evaluation. A 5-phase measured plan for reopening the economy was also released by the Office of the Prime Minister, which outlines the way forward for the country. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce appointed a member of the country's Economic Recovery Committee. The 18-member group has been charged to help provide a way forward for the country in response to the many challenges arising from the COVID-19 pandemic. As Italia Hall tells us, the local business leader says he is proud to be Grand Bahama's representative.
The newly formed Public-Private Committee will make recommendations to the Cabinet on the long-term economic recovery of the Bahamas, including job creation and stimulating small business recovery and development in response to COVID-19. While President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Gregory Larota, is one of the members on the committee, and he says it is important for Grand Bahama to be represented.
we've always, on Grand Bahama, talked about the fact that we need persons from Grand Bahama who are on the ground and who are in touch with what's going on, the specific issues that Grand Bahama has and challenges. And we needed to be in a position to put that on a national level. And so now, with Grand Bahama having that spot on the committee, we really need to get together as a business community and make sure in all the different sectors that we are making contribution to what needs to happen from the national level.
He says Grand Bahamians can be assured that they can use him as their voice.
But I'm only as effective as the participation of the stakeholders on Grand Bahama. Yes, I have some ideas of my own, what we need to be looking at and what we need to be doing. But I don't nowhere near understand and would want to represent Grand Bahama without the input of all the relevant stakeholders. So to the extent I get that input, I can be more effective in representing Grand Bahama to the best of my ability on that committee.
The committee will host their first meeting tomorrow. Now, Lorota says it is his hope that at the end of this initiative, the economy of Grand Bahama becomes vibrant.
To see us come with a national plan in terms of growing and restoring the general economy of the Bahamas, one that would go beyond politics, one that all sides can buy into, so that in the future, even if there are changes in government, we're still committed to a plan going forward that continue to grow instead of resetting every time a government change.
The Prime Minister says he's looking forward to the ideas, policies, and programs that the committee will recommend to help the Bahamas recover and to create jobs and more entrepreneurial opportunities for young people as well. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama Health Services is at the heart of the fight against COVID-19, the coronavirus. The hospital has been working with diminished capacity since Hurricane Dorian in September. And this past Sunday, following a freak weather system, the facility suffered another setback. Today, Jamila Mizik spoke with the hospital administrator, who says it is a serious situation.
Grand Bahama Health Services Administrator Sharon Williams says the impact that Sunday's weather had on patients and staff under tents provided as a hospital facility by the Samaritan's Purse cannot be downplayed, as it is a grave concern.
What we would have done for that present evening following the storm, when we could have gotten some assistance in, we would have removed those patients and staff from the tent, because of course the weather was predicting for another storm that night. Luckily, we were not visited by the storm of that strength that night, but those patients and staff were moved to the emergency room. Of course, we were able to do that because our census at the time was quite low.
She says since then they have made the necessary strengthening adjustments of the tent and ensured that the physical structure is in place.
We are making sure that we do that every day. Now, are those tents made for extremely high winds? No, they can withstand up to, we are told, 70 miles an hour wind. So what we must do for the future is watch the weather very closely to see where the predictions are, what they are saying about the wind strength, what they are saying about hurricanes that are threatening us, and make sure that we move our staff to our various facilities that we have identified.
Now, Williams admits that renovations to the hospital have been progressing slowly, but there has been discussions with the government and PHA management to ensure that the renovation process is sped up to meet their timeline of the beginning of the hurricane season, and if not, shortly thereafter.
We, as we indicated, have also identified additional facilities that we may be used in the event that the hospital facility is not totally prepared once we're ready to move in the next few weeks.
She's commending the staff at the Grand Bahama Health Services for all of their hard work and dedication to service.
Our staff in Grand Bahama Health Services are troopers. No matter what we throw at Grand Bahama Health Services, we make plans and we push through and make sure that our community and our patients are safe within our care. So I want to say a big thank you to the staff of Grand Bahama Health Services for all the effort that they have been putting throughout Dorian, through the impact of Dorian, through the COVID, and then again through the small storm that visited us on Sunday.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, Bahamians across the length and breadth of the country are being impacted by the COVID-19 global pandemic. For many, a major concern is a loss of income. Yesterday, the Prime Minister announced a program in the House of Assembly that is intended to encourage both renters and landlords to work together through this unprecedented time. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, announcing a program that answers the cries of many Bahamians during this time, recognizing that many are out of work at this time or are working on reduced hours and are unable to meet rental obligations. The Prime Minister outlined a program that will assist those that are unable to meet their rental obligations.
This program, Mr. Speaker, is limited to residential rentals only. It is only for those whose employment or income has been affected by COVID-19. Individuals will have to provide documentation to their landlord to qualify for this program. Those who qualify for this program will be able to defer, or in other words, to postpone a portion of their rent payment for the next 3 months.
And when it comes to the responsibility of the landlords
will be required to defer 40% of the rent due per month for this 3-month period, beginning with the month of April 2020. Landlords will not, for the 3-month period, be able to evict tenants who were in good standing prior to April. Landlords, Mr. Speaker, will not be able to disconnect the electricity or water for tenants who were in good standing prior to April.
Now renters will have 12 months to repay the deferred amount. The Prime Minister emphasized that renters and landlords are encouraged to work together to find a solution that works best for both parties, and that this program in no way gives renters permission to not pay their rent.
I want to be very clear, Mr. Speaker. This is not permission for individuals not to pay their rents. I advise those who are still able to pay, who are able to pay their full rent, to do so. Mr. Speaker, it is important to recognize also that landlords depend on rental payments for their own income and often to pay off their bank mortgages on their rental properties. And this is why those rental payments can be deferred, but they cannot be eliminated.
He adds that the commercial banks have indicated that they are open to deferring the mortgage payments on rental properties to the extent that landlords are affected by this program.
To qualify for this program, Mr. Speaker, a renter must meet the following criteria. They must be renting residential property inside the Bahamas. They must be paying a monthly rent of $2,000 per month or less. There must be no more than 1 month in arrears with rent. They must be a Bahamian citizen or legal resident. They must be able to demonstrate that their employment or income stream has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And renters will have to provide the evidence necessary to show that their income has been impacted by COVID-19, and they will have to sign an agreement to repay the amount deferred. This will be mandatory for all landlords for their qualifying renters.
O my soul, and all that is within me, we will bless his holy name. For the Lord is good, and his mercies, and I want us to reiterate on that word, for his mercies endureth forever, and his truth is passed to all generations. We here in the Bahamas, we love the Lord. We fear the Lord. We know there are many that are not where they should be, but we're standing and believing God that he would have mercy upon them and draw them to him. I'll close with this. This was about 2 weeks ago. On a Sunday morning, I got up, and all I saw in the frame of my mind, the mercy seat was planted in the front of me. And so I'm going to stay at the mercy seat with prayer, with praise, and with worship and adoration unto our soon coming King, because he is good and his mercies endure it forever. Love you, and God bless you.
And coming up in the news, a corporate trainer finding creative ways to conduct sessions. That story straight ahead.